What's up, friends? What's up, world? And welcome to another episode of Trust the Tape. I am Jeff Cavanaugh, and I am joined by my friend Bryan Broaddus,
Hey, Bry.
former Cowboy scout. Hey, Bry.
Jeffrey, how we doing?
Crushing, honestly. We're just
Good.
crushing.
Good.
Ready for another riveting episode of Trust the Tape, where the people come for their draft talk.
They do.
You fired me a text this morning. I put it in the headline, and I figured I'd just let you take the baton and see where this leads us.
Which one did you like this morning, Jeff? I sent you two.
I like the first one. And if we need the second one, we could use the second one. Well, actually, I really like them both because I think they're contradicting themselves on the second one.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's why I just kind of wondered. Okay, I'll fire you the first one. I asked you this morning, Jeffrey, in a text because you said, let me know if you got any topic ideas again. Morning.
Indeed.
Yeah, morning. Like, you didn't say morning first. You said, yeah, hey, let's talk about this, but then morning. You know,
Well, I wanted you to know afterwards. Hey,
that hey, I need your help, but morning.
Yeah. Morning.
I asked you, will the depth at running back, defensive tackle, and cornerback keep the Cowboys from taking the right guy?
And by that, do you mean that it'll make them wait at those positions? And then when they get a little later on in the day, they go, oh, crap.
Yes.
I do. I think that kind of happened to him last year.
I think so too.
And it's like maybe all along because Jerry, they were planning on Zeke, but I feel like they wanted a running back last year. And then they just kind of ran out of time and went, oh, crap. We didn't get a running back.
I think the Rico Dowdle, I think what happened to him as well, that they missed out early, and then they started going, well, he's not as good as Rico Dowdle. He's not as good as Rico Dowdle. He's not as good at, they played that game is what they did.
And I thought that the Leafau pick was going to be a running back pick.
I did too.
And maybe they just loved Leafau too much to do it. But I feel like right in that range, there was a bunch of running backs that went that I was like, oh, I wish they would have done that. Oh, I wish they would have done that. Oh, I wish they would have done that. I don't know, because I also think that the
Nealon pick kind of confused me a little bit too. I was kind of like the Leafau and Nealon, when those picks were made, I was like, okay, maybe they get the running back the next time around, because I had guys right there. And I've said this 1,000 times. I'm sorry, folks. I repeat myself. I'm old. I do this a lot.
Hey, Bry.
The thing about it is they don't give a damn what I think.
Sure.
But I work really hard at doing this, and we all want to be right. We all want to be like, hey, take my guys. And that way you feel like, okay. Yeah. And so when it happens, when they're taking, like, I've got like a 3rd round running back and they take a 5th round linebacker.
Yeah.
I'm going, okay, am I really that effed up? That I really get this that wrong?
I'm trying to remember what picks it was, but I remember doing the draft show on Cowboys.com and The Fan when we were doing it together.
Yeah.
And there has been times where it'll last for half hour, maybe longer, where they'll make a pick and we just don't like it so much. And it's like our energy on the show would suck because we were just like, what? Oh my, I don't know. What
was it one of those corners? Did they take a corner one time that we just –
I think Deshaun Wright was one of the ones that were like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
I think, was that the Puna Ford draft or something like that? Where all of a sudden we're just like, we've talked about, and that's what's unique about the draft show. Who's ever hosting it, whether now it's Kyle or myself or Hellman, whoever hosts the show, it was always the, okay, Jeff, who do you got on your board? And you run through, and you work it down from it's like 15 picks before the Cowboys pick, and you keep saying the same guy. And then they get down and Dallas takes somebody and you're like, what am I even doing?
Why do I watch these guys?
Why have I watched 200 players for them not to even consider my guy? But we take it personal. I do, but they don't care. They don't care about what I think. And
I think you just got to embrace it and realize that the point of it is the people in the chat right now, right? Like the people watching right now want to know what you think about the players. And so you watch them and you get to make a bunch of content off of it. It makes for great conversation for months and months and months.
Sure.
And you get the benefit of knowing these guys when they get in the league. Like now there's not a player in the league that we don't know because we knew them before they came in the league. Well, and I think there's a lot of value in that.
I think it's kind of cool when people do tweet at you and they say, "Oh, I remember when you guys liked this guy," or "Oh, I remember when you guys weren't as high on this guy." And they do it. You gotta say you acknowledge the ones that you weren't right. I haven't had many people come after me about Bo Nix, but I should have listened to Sean Payton when he was telling me, how good of a player Bo Nix was. But I had this vision of Bo Nix as a player at Auburn, and I had the vision of what he was. What he'd done at Oregon, but I'm thinking, man, I've seen too much of that Auburn guy, and Sean says, you're gonna be wrong about Bo Nix. And Sean was right.
Well, and I think that becomes more and more relevant, especially now, because you're used to, and their NFL careers would bear it out.
Yeah.
The guys who declare as juniors and the guys who are younger, they're going to have better NFL careers. And on average, it's not close. Like there's a reason they declare early. And now starting with guys getting an extra COVID year. And then I think now considering that you can make money in college, it's not, okay, I can get drafted and get my money now. Now that you can get it in college, I do think it makes it hard. Like there's an Iowa State corner who it took 6 years for him to get on the field. And people are talking about he may be a top round or top 2 rounds. And I watched him and I'm like, dude, I can't, like a guy who it took 6 years to get on the field. That's going to be an old prospect. I don't care how good of an athlete he is. Like he ain't for me. Somebody's going to take him way before I would. But I think we probably just have to be more open to the idea that a 5th-year player doesn't mean he can't play. And he didn't play in his first 3 years or whatever. It's like, okay, should I like Will Johnson better than Jahdae Barron? Because one was there for 3 years and one was there for 5 when Barron has the better tape last year. I don't know. And I also think that's the fun of it. The fun of it is we're trying to predict the future, and it's hard.
You're talking about Porter from Iowa State, I assume, right?
Yeah. Like not for me. Somebody's going to take him in the top 50 or something, and I would pick him at like 130.
Here we have a topic, and we're just currently going, but this is what the trusted tape
we do.
Does. This is what trusted tape does.
We do whatever.
And, I think I think that all the depth's going to give him a problem. I kind of feel that way with Shuck, the quarterback from Louisville. I feel that way about him. And I feel like he played 7 years. He had 2 collarbones break. He had a femur break. You're kind of like, why is it taking 7 years for this? And I'm supposed to love this guy like in the 2nd round.
And it doesn't change. It doesn't change the player he is today.
I know. I understand it, but there's teams that are looking now, and maybe it's at quarterback mainly, but they're looking for the Brock Purdy type, the guy that's the 4-year starter. You watch Iowa State back in the day before they got Matt Campbell as head coach, before they got Brock Purdy. Iowa State was a perennial bad team. And they've every year they've put 3-4 guys in the league. They've gotten better. The Big 12, they've gotten better. All this stuff, they got better. And so, but Brock Purdy played 4 years and then he gets into the league and you're like, boy, he's ready to play. And then we've had so many of these quarterbacks that have been 1-year guys that have busted. Like I feel like, I know somebody at North Carolina is going to kill me for this. I kind of felt like Mitch Trubisky was a 1-year guy. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right.
I mean,
a 1-year starter.
I'm sorry, I got so much in my head right now when it comes to these players, but it seems like to me these 1-year players have busted more than maybe a guy that's, I don't know. I like the experience factor. I think there's a lot of these offensive linemen we're looking at in this draft. Guys that have played 50 some odd games, and because of COVID and an extra year and all that stuff, is experience good? I guess for some positions It really, really is. And for others, it really doesn't matter all that much.
Anthony, I'd like to shout out in the chat. Jeff has the attention span of a pigeon, which is very much
I've
true.
I've done not much studying of pigeons, but I don't know if, but no,
and the beauty of it is that Brian's not the one who's going to pull you back on track. Like Bryan isn't the one that'll take us off track, at least not most of the time, but he is not here to reel me back in. He'll just go down whatever road we're headed.
No, I mean, I feel like that, you know, we've done this a while, and, you know, if you have a point you want to make, I feel like you need to make that point. You don't need to bring me back.
Wherever we're going is awesome. Okay. But to go back to what you're saying, so like the idea that depth at different positions could make the Cowboys like skip the right player or make a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, could you draw me a scenario of what you mean? Like, because I'm thinking like, okay, are you saying like at 12?
Do it 44. Take a runner at 44. Take a runner at 44.
TreVeyon Henderson.
Yeah. Could they pass on TreVeyon Henderson and thinking that, you know, we could wait to the 5th and grab or maybe they pick up, or maybe they wait to the 3rd.
I think they could. And the hard part about that one in particular is, you know how I feel about running backs.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate them for it. I mean,
okay, do defensive tackle.
See, now that one,
do the positions I gave you. Like, the tackle, do the corner.
Yeah.
They're going to. My dream scenario at corner was that Ravel from East Carolina somehow makes it to them at 44.
Brian, you talk about it. I'm just going to tell you, I think he will.
But see, they're going to break my heart. I'm protecting my feelings right now, because I'm going to sit there and Kyle's going to ask me, Brian, where would you go here? And I would be interested to see who else is on the board and how my stack looks. But that's a first round player to me. And that would break my heart if they did that.
Yeah, and my favorite thing is that you also can't hide it. So if you have a guy you love in the second they don't take him, the next hour of the draft show is going to be Brian like, what do I know? I don't know anything. They don't care.
That's what no, you got to remember my line. That's exactly why I'm doing media right now.
Yeah.
Last
and they don't
15
care.
years,
they don't care what I think.
They don't care what I think. But no, I don't know. I don't know.
Look, I don't mind. It's a uniquely deep running back class. So could they try? Could they try to keep passing on it? Yes. What I don't want them to do, especially at that position, is force a pick because of the need. If they go the other direction and take the depth of the draft as a reason to keep passing at running back, I would be like, okay, that's cool. Unless you just, like last year, they just took it too far. They took it too far. And the guy that they identified as he can be part of our committee couldn't play. And that's a problem.
I just don't know. Yeah, I just don't know how they had guys above some of those running backs. I don't know. I mean, but they talked about Leofau he was. Like he was, and Leofau played well. I'm not trying to discredit the player. I'm just saying that I looked at some of these your running back situation got bad, because you neglected it to start the year. And then you figured out, whoa, wait a minute, we got a guy that might be able to carry the ball. And your right tackle got better. You replaced your right guard. Your center started to improve. And your left tackle, that was kind of a revolving door. But man, I don't know.
I do think the one that would worry me if you let the depth of the draft make you think that you could keep waiting is defensive tackle. Because one, I think it's harder for guys at defensive tackle than a lot of spots, especially running back, to go from college football to the NFL. Like the running back job doesn't change. And not that the defensive tackle job changes. It's just when you are a 300-pound guy that is an overmatch for the guy across from you in college, you just get to whip his ass. Yeah. And you get to the NFL and these dudes are as big and strong as you are, and they know what the hell they're doing, and life gets hard. So I think once you get past maybe round 2, if you think you're going to have like a nose tackle that's going to come in and be as good or better than Mozzie, then I would say I like some of these guys too, and I like their tape, but the history of that position is it's a tough transition. And I think that say, I'll give you names for the second round. if you got Ohio State's Tyleik Williams or Texas Alfred Collins in the second round, I really like that. And I think that there's a chance.
I would like Williams more. I would like
Williams more as well, but I like them. I like both of those guys a lot, and I like them in that range. And I think that those guys have a legit chance to walk into camp and be as good or better than Mozzie Smith. You go
deeper than that. You go around later, you might not. You're right.
Whereas running back, I think maybe you can.
Oh, because you don't have any. I mean, people are tagging me in clips of, our guy working out, that they got from Carolina, the running back.
Oh, Hampton?
No, the Carolina Panthers.
Which one? Why are they? Did they have too many?
No, they just their people are telling me that the running back room, that the guys they signed are better than.
Better than Rico?
Yeah, better than.
I don't.
Yeah. And they're kind of telling me like, you keep crapping on these guys and all that, and I'm like,
Look, Brian, I don't want to get combative with our audience.
No, I'm not. I just there's things I pass on. There's like, okay, fine. I mean, if that's
the Cowboys,
if that's how you feel.
No, yeah, we can be honest, right?
It's Miles Sanders. Like I say, it's Miles Sanders. I mean, they are just completely, people are tagging me now in Miles Sanders workout videos. And I'm like,
tag me in Zeke workout videos. I don't care. And like, I guess the thing is that there's different ways you can do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of different things work. Like a lot of people think that I'm intentionally negative because Jerry stuff tends to go viral. And I'm not. I'm just being honest about what I think about things. And I think that if we wanted to just be incredibly positive and just wear cowboy gear at all times and say that everything's going to be amazing, I think it would be great for viewership. I think it would work out really well for us in making money.
Hell, they don't even do that at DallasCowboys.com.
No, and I don't know the point of it. Like, I don't know that I wouldn't enjoy doing that. Like, what I enjoy doing is watching football and getting to know the players and then giving opinions on it. And like the Cowboys running back room, if you want to be optimistic that Javonte Williams 2 years off of an ACL and other things in his knee is going to be improved, I don't want to take your optimism from you, but I want to be realistic. And realistically, Javonte Williams was a really good rookie running back. And since he hadn't been good.
Yeah. The things he could do now is he can catch the ball well and he can pass block.
Right.
Other than that's kind of what he is.
And if you want to say, something different schematically further from injury and you expect him to be good, like I'm not going to take it from you, but I'll tell you, I think that's very optimistic. And Miles Sanders, like the evidence says, I'm sorry for the negative word, I just don't have a better one. The evidence says he's washed. And if you just want to believe he's not because he's on the Cowboys, I don't want to take that from you, but it's not my opinion. Like my opinion is the Cowboys are worse at running back. Rico just had a good year running the ball, and the guys you brought in have not in years. So we need a running back.
Yeah, where you've upgraded potentially is 2 spots in the running game. I don't think
you've upgraded a linebacker.
No. Just you've upgraded in the running game. I think the coaches.
Right. You're hoping on that.
That's your upgrade. You're hoping with your offensive line coach, and you're hoping with your coordinator.
Yeah.
And you're hoping that shoddy. But to me, this thing is not off to a great start. If you come out and you talk about how you want to, and all you've really done is upgrade now they'll say, what about, the guard that you signed? I don't know.
Is he better than Hoffman? I don't know. We'll see.
That's
another conversation that I want to have over and over and over, because I actually think, well, let me knock out some super chats because the people need it. Dan has a scouting question for Brian. Does the evaluation of a player swing much between team scouts, or is there generally a consensus about round grades?
Generally what will happen, Dan, is when you'll have an area scout presents the player, a cross-check scout will then, maybe it's a positional guy, will give you a report. The national guy or over-the-top guy will give you a report, and maybe a coach will come in with a report. But it's generally what happens is you get guys, and it doesn't vary it's not always just a massive swing in guys. I do remember one time and when I was in the building there with Anquan Bolden, and the scouts swung really big in a negative way, where Walter Juliff, who was the over the top guy, said, listen, you could put Anquan Bolden wherever you want, but this guy's going to play in the league for 100 years. You can talk about his speed, and the scouts won. The scouts kept him down. Walter said, I just want to make this point that all you MFers are wrong. And he said that, and he was right. But you don't generally have massive swings, but you try and come to a consensus. And then what you do is the final grade, the stack will be will take the tag, and he'll say, okay, where do you want to place him in our stack? And then you have all the other positions. And then that's how you come to, like, if you have 150 players on your board from 1 to 150, and that's how the order they go. So you compare them, you have the wide board, and then by position, and then you have the stack. And that's where the group consensus really comes. You put them in the round and then put them in the stack, but not huge, massive swings.
But when you talk to like friends or guys in the league from other teams, do you often have guys who it's like, oh yeah, we have them in the second and they've got them in the fifth?
It doesn't. I mean, I've talked to guys that have said, they've asked me. I've had guys, my friend's gang of 7 guys are, where do you have this guy? And I'll say, well, I have him in the third. And my guys will go, yeah, my guys are trying to push for this guy to be in the second, or my guys are trying to push for this guy to be in the fifth.
Okay, but maybe ballpark for the most part, I think people are in the same ballpark. You're watching the same tape.
Yeah.
Jay Litt is in the super chat just to let us know that we rock, which I appreciate. Anthony wanted us to know that pigeons are cool, which I appreciate. Ryan's in the super chat. What are your thoughts on Kyle Williams? Sims had him as his number 2 wide receiver, but I haven't heard anything about him from anyone else. He looks really explosive at the very least. That was the guy that it's always fun, because that was the guy that when I was watching day 3 receivers, because you're working off of some sort of list,
right?
I was watching day 3 receivers and I was like, meh, and I got to Kyle Williams and I went, oh,
yeah,
there's a good one. Yeah. He's what is he? He's Washington State,
right?
He's one of the smaller-ish guys, but
5'11", 5'11",
but not tiny.
No,
kind
not
of the kind of receiver that I like. The guy that's kind of sudden off the line, can separate, can run. No, Kyle Williams is a guy that I like. I don't have him up there at the very, very top with those other guys, but I think he's in the mix as like maybe a top 10 wide receiver in the class.
Yeah, he's
third, fourth round.
Yeah, I think probably third round would be where he would sit. He's 5'11", he's 190. The thing you really like about Kyle Williams, in my opinion, is that, to me, he's got kind of a twitchy element to his game. And with the ball in his hands, he's got a dangerous skill set. He's almost like a punt kick returner with the vision. How he kind of runs, he weaves through traffic, and I mean, he'll catch the ball on all levels. He does well against zone. I mean, he can find soft spots. If you watch the Syracuse game and the Holiday Bowl, he absolutely broke Des Bryant's Holiday Bowl record with 172 yards on 10 catches. And Syracuse really didn't have an answer for him. Like the deep ball, the crossing stuff, the intermediate stuff. It was a hell of a game for Kyle Williams. 5'11", 190 he's that perfect size that you kind of like in your receiver.
Yeah, because we like receivers who separate.
Yeah.
That's what we like. We like receivers who separate. And he's got the like even off the line of scrimmage, he was one of those guys that is a smaller guy. It's like, is he going to get jammed up? And the answer is no, because he's too kind of quick and evasive for you to really get hands on him and jam him up like that.
Sure.
And that can lead us to text number 2 from Brian this morning. Are Shoddy and Steven just bluffing about liking their wide receiver room? And that one, if we take it to say that they love their wide receiver room, then I would say they are bluffing. I think I pay more attention to the one little one that got stuck in there when Steven was talking about, and maybe an explosive number 2 if we could find to upgrade. Like that's what I think they actually think.
Yeah,
is they can say, oh yeah, Jalen Tolbert and Jonathan Mingo, and we love the way that these guys are blah 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 blah. But I think the real words in the compliment sandwich were the ones in the middle, where it's like, yeah, if we could find an explosive second option to upgrade, that sure would be nice. Yeah. I think that's how they really feel, is they know they need somebody to help CD.
Yeah, I just wonder if they're kind of trying to take us off the track of thinking about a wide receiver. But I wonder if they're going to, when they have these pre-draft press conferences, they're going to talk about Tolbert. They're going to talk about Mingo. They're going to talk about Flournoy. They're going to talk about these guys. So I wonder if – I hope that doesn't keep them from drafting I mean, they could very well believe that Mingo is their big guy and that they want a guy more like CD, which you're talking about, the explosive kind of guy. Maybe that's what they're thinking. But I can't believe that they love their room that much where they would just say, nah, we're good with Tolbert. We're good with Mingo. We're good with Flournoy. We're good with, we're good with Brooks. We're good with all these guys.
No, that would be cray-cray. That would be cray-cray. But the one thing I would say is I do believe that the Cowboys are more guilty of this than some teams, which is they're not going to move on from stuff immediately. I mean, that's evidenced by the guys even they brought in this offseason. They're still bringing in guys that they liked 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago when they were coming out of college because they liked them at that point. Right. I think even though it was just a 4th-round pick and it's a new coaching staff, like they're going to want to give Mingo a real chance.
Yeah.
Same reason I think they won't pick a left tackle. I don't think they want to write off. We made a 1st-round pick. That's our left tackle. And I'm more like, I tweeted it yesterday. I think if you had Will Campbell on the board at 12, I think that'd be a good pick for this team. The LSU left tackle, I think that'd be a good pick for this team. And I don't think they'll make it. I don't think they would make it. To your point on will they pass on the right guy? Sure. I think there's a chance that they pass on the right guy at 12 because he plays O-line. And they don't want to do that because they're like, oh, we already did, even though he couldn't play over Chuma. That's where I think they can make their mistake is wanting to go too far at giving the guys they've already picked a chance, as opposed to going, look, if that guy shows up and he's better and earns it, cool. Yeah. And then guess what? Whatever guy I pick that's a left tackle in this draft, he could play right guard.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll do it. That's where I think they might leave the best player on the board because it's a left tackle. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy to me because that's an incredibly valuable position. If your best player is a left tackle at 12, pick him.
If it came down to, for you, your best receivers you have Hunter corner receiver.
I mean, I have him listed as both. I honestly think the team should play him at receiver. I think his first option to receiver. They make the most money. They make a bigger impact on the game. They score the touchdowns. I think he should play receiver.
Okay. Your second best receiver is?
My second best receiver is Tetairoa McMillen.
Okay. McMillen, Campbell. Who's your best corner on the board?
Outside of Travis Hunter, Will Johnson is my top corner on the board. And I do have them stacked. So if you want to know how those are stacked, I can tell you.
Okay. Well, I'd like to. Okay, then if that's the case, pick me a player between Johnson, Campbell, and McMillan.
Oh my God, they're all 3 in a row. I technically have it Johnson, McMillan, Campbell, but I don't know if I believe that. I think it should be
Johnson, McMillan, Campbell.
I think it should.
I think you made a really good, passionate discussion speech for taking Campbell.
Yeah,
I think you made a really good one, and that's why I asked you the question, because I wanted to see how really committed you were to taking Will Campbell.
Well, I have Kelvin Banks over all of them, but I think in that case, I'm doing
Banks is going to be there at 12. Banks,
right? And in that case, what I'm doing,
take Banks, McMillan, Johnson.
Banks, Johnson, McMillan. And in that case, what I'm doing, but with Kelvin Banks, what I'm doing is I am acknowledging what the world is telling me. And so I won't use his name as often as I would use Will Campbell's, because when you see all of the national people who are talking to people and you see where names start falling, the NFL does not agree with me about with Kelvin Banks. And that's fine.
We got breaking news, Jeffrey.
What we got?
The Cowboys traded for Joe Milton.
We're just going to keep throwing off draft picks for
Yeah.
Backup quarterbacks that are athletes, huh?
Compensation. The Patriots are trading Joe Milton and a 7th-round pick to Dallas in exchange for Dallas's compensatory 5th, per sources. That's Adam Schefter.
Okay. I mean, I can't. Okay. I mean, we did this with Trey Lance, and now we're doing it with Joe Milton. Honestly, it's just my live reaction, but my live reaction is, okay. Like, okay. Are we gonna get sold that this is like this is the next guy that's a threat to Dak?
It's funny. I talked to Elliot Wolf about this, who's the GM with the Patriots, and I don't think Elliot really wanted to trade Joe Milton. I think he wanted to keep Joe Milton, and I think that to me that was
why would you do it?
The new coaching staff.
Okay.
I think he met some resistance of having Joe Milton with the new staff, and and I said, well, what does it take? And he says, probably a 5. That's what they did. So I've been talking about this one actually for a couple of weeks, but when it started to happen, it kind of felt like it was building momentum. But he didn't really want to get rid of Joe Milton. He liked Joe Milton a lot. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
I mean, I'll have to actually go watch the NFL game that he played, because I know that he played at least one NFL game.
Yeah, the very last one of the year, right?
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I'll go look at it so that I can have a better opinion on Joe Milton. But my initial thought is, all right, you were going to use a comp pick to draft a quarterback probably anyway. If you like Joe Milton better, all right, that works for me.
Yeah, Joe Milton. He's got a big arm. We have to go back and look at the rookie notes, and then kind of look at the game, maybe the preseason stuff you can get.
Yeah,
watch him do some preseason work and stuff.
I'll go find
if I could. I know you will. Circle. Did I get you to tell me who you would take out of that group? I'm sorry. You were probably talking about it, and then I saw that.
No, that's fine. I mean, sometimes this is why I miss watching tape with somebody, because like going through and talking about guys that I would pick, and then going and looking at my actual stack. Like, I'm going to change it right now. Sometimes you just need to talk to people about these players.
It happens when Vach and I do shows, and like I feel like I'm lower on a guy than Vach is, and then I go back and read my notes, and he's right. That I'm like, gosh, he's right about where I put him within a round and stuff like that. It's not getting influenced. It's just, why do my notes sound better than a 4th-round pick?
Right.
Why do my notes sound better? And that's a struggle we all go through right there.
I think I would like and be more comfortable with either Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks over both Will Johnson and Tetairoa McMillen. So I have to make sure my stack reflects that. Like, I like them both, and I think they both would help the Cowboys, whether it's at left tackle or right guard. And those other two guys, like, I think they help too, and they help at positions of need. I think I'm just a little bit more comfortable with both Campbell and Banks. So what are you going to do? Thank you to Kerry in the super chat, Freak Jesus. He said we don't need a running back. We got Deuce to cut loose this year, and that's a good point. Ratio talked to us about Joe Milton, the new Cowboys backup. Yep, he's here. We got him. We're gonna do it. We're gonna win the Super Bowl with Joe. Just that's fine. I mean, you just a late round comp pick for a quarterback.
What it basically says is that you like Joe Milton more than you like potentially
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers very well could be in that range that we're talking about. I personally have him like in the 4th, but
just insert draft guy Dylan Gabriel. Insert
Dylan Gabriel, Rorick, Leonard. All those guys. That's basically you took that 5th round quarterback, or that 5th round pick that you kind of were going to earmark for a quarterback, and you went and got a guy that has played in the league just a little bit, and you like the upside on him, much like you did Trey Lance.
Let's get it. All right, Brian, I appreciate you, and you make sure that you have yourself a hell of a day. How about that?
Hey, Brian.
You do the same, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Remember, everybody, got no idea what anybody's going through. Speak cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.